Seek fluid
All
intake
right.
immediately.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 18 in the Game Pass library series of game streams that I've been doing for titles within the Game Pass library. And this is Subnautica Below Zero. This is a sequel, continuation, if you will, of the original Subnautica. So those that are familiar with Subnautica will be right at home here. Um, Let me take you through a couple of things with this game. It is a survival style of game. It is, I would say, you could compare it to No Man's Sky. You could compare it to um, those games that require you to go out, get resources. If you don't drink water, or you don't eat, or if you don't breathe air, if you get too cold, all those kinds of things lend themselves to this type of game. It is sort of it is an open world. It is a survival action adventure game, and it is developed by, if you're familiar with Subnautica, Unknown Worlds Entertainment. I'm loving the music in this game, and I got to give a shout out to Ben Prunty, the composer. You'll hear some very ambient, dynamic music in the game as you explore. All right, so what is Subnautica? It is pretty hardcore. It is sort of a Zen style game as well, and I found myself enjoying as I explore different areas that are very unique, as I progress the story. And to give a basic summary of it, your sister has disappeared, and you're trying to find out exactly what it is that happened to her. And while you're doing your survival game, that is the story that sort of hovers over the overall gameplay that you're doing, and to kind of give you a direction to go. There are some secrets that reveal themselves along the way um, through your journey. So this is going to have some spoilers in it. So if you do not want to be spoiled by what the game, I'll try not to get too heavy into some of the bigger things, but primarily just know that there is a lot. You will spend a good amount of
Oxygen.
time finding out what it is that you need to do. So this suit AI that I have here is telling me I need oxygen. So the way that I get oxygen is just going to the surface. I'll start to slowly black out if I don't get oxygen in time. So that's one of the things you need to pay attention to. But she's really good about saying you have 30 seconds of oxygen left, or you need to consume, or you need to get to the surface. And you don't have to go, you could do a couple of things.
Seek
You could go
fluid intake.
inside your structure here. You could go up to the surface to get air. And we'll talk about this little guy right here. You can go inside to get air. So you can see I'm starting to take damage because I need fluid. So in order to get fluid, I need to drink water. In order to drink water, I need to create it. And in order to create it, I need specific types of
Oxygen.
fish that hold on to water. So let's hope that I don't die on stream, and see if I can quickly find one of these fish. I'm actually sort of in a bit of a panic mode here. I'm looking for a specific type of fish. There he is, right there. So we're going to go ahead and grab that guy. Now we're going to go back over to our ship here, or our pod, and we are going to make
I have
a
something
bottle of water
to share.
using this
Another
fabricator.
artifact?
Yes, although
You cannot know for sure what it is, but it is certainly of significant import. I know.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
All right, so now that I've created that water,
Vital
I
signs
drink that
stabilizing.
water, and I shouldn't die because I have that water. Now you can see where I have pretty close to death. I've got 2 points of health left. Now, in order to improve upon that, I need to go and create a med pack. Now, you're going to be using this fabricator quite a bit. And you can see resources, sustenance, personal items, deployables, upgrades. Again, some of these things will open up as you play the game. But I need to heal myself. Now, there are resources in abundance around the area. Now, I need to be thinking about food because my food is getting low. So I need to get these creatures. Now, the flora and fauna is all about, and also the coral are all about you, and you need to constantly be thinking about those blocks or those circle wheels down there that give you information on your air supply, your food supply, your health, your hyper or hypothermia.
Oxygen.
So I'm going to work a little bit here on gathering some food, and I'll show you that. Now, we've talked before about how this game is all about Zen. And as long as you pay attention to those circle dials down there to the bottom left, you'll be fine. And then as you start to build up and discover new things and build tools. All right, so fluid intake we're still thinking about, and I also need to gather materials so that I can create med kits. Now, you'll learn over time what flora and fauna provide you the resources that you need. Calorie intake, I need to make food. These little guys right here, these little monkey guys will try to take things from you, but you can take things from them as well. Let's go ahead and get oxygen. Watch things that are above your head because you'll be trying to get up to breathe air, and you'll hit one of these icebergs, or you'll be under in a cave. All right, so these creep vines right here are what are going to give me different things. And in order to get things from this particular creep vine, I need to have a knife. He took something. Just take it back from him. Go into your resources here. You can see a bunch of things that I've built here. We're going to add that knife right there. We're going to grab our knife. Now I'm going to hit this creep vine, and my inventory is full because I've got a bunch of these things, right? Now let's talk about these things. I've upgraded my suit over time, and again, that's also a part of exploring. You'll find parts littered throughout the surface, inside structures, man-made structures, and they'll give you blueprints in order to improve upon your suit. Now, you can kind of see at the top of the screen, and I didn't go over all of that, but at the top of the screen I have my depth. So right now I'm at 20 meters. Water pressure and everything and the efficiency of your suit will change based on the depth that you make. Get back over here with that. That's mine. Give me that back. Give me that back. Give me that back. Oh, my inventory is full. All right, so anyway, I was talking about suit upgrades. So as your exploration continues, you'll get blueprints in order to improve your suit. I've got meters at the top, but I also want to know my cardinal direction. So you can upgrade that by this guy right here. So sorry, let's improve our oxygen, improve our ability to breathe, improve our speed, and also there is a computer chip which I don't see. There it is right there. Compass. So I've added a bunch of things over here. You can see I can improve my suit. I can improve those hands might be my thermal protection. I'm not sure yet. And a computer chip. I'm not quite sure what that does yet. But now that I've cleared up some of my inventory slots here, you can see as they start to fill, I'll be able to come over here to this plant, and you can see as I swipe away at it, I get these things right here, which are going to let me build. Let's go ahead and, I might have actually made a critical error here. I don't know where my ship is at. So in order to do that, I need to turn on markers. Markers you'll have throughout the game. You can add some, you can take some away. And also, you've got this guy right here, which will help you get back to areas when you're running low on resources, running low on air, running low on food. You're trying to get away from enemies. And I'm kind of putting myself into some very bad situations here by trying to explain it while I'm low on resources. So the primary thing I'm going to want to do here is go into this and create one of these things. But in order to create one of these, I need to create mesh. So I go up here to this, I create a mesh. And we'll kind of talk about pinning some of these items as well, so you don't have to remember everything. Let's go over here, personal. Let's go over here to the med kit.
Emergency.
Now I have a med kit.
Seek calorie
I know.
immediately.
So let's go eat some food. This is where we're going to burn some of those fish. All right, so now I've got the ability to heal myself with a med kit. I'm going to take some hits on water probably. So I'm going to go ahead and heal myself there. And I'm also going to eat. But now I'm low on water. So, and again, this isn't, it may sound like this is the only thing that you're going to be doing is trying to survive. But once you have a full belly of water, a full belly of food, and you're fully healed, you can stay out for a good amount of time. I would highly recommend at least bringing some reserves with you. So if you start to go down in health or hydration. So again, just collect as many as you need. So I'm just going to collect 2 so that I can get, actually let's collect some more. Let's keep an eye. Let's also eat some more. Let's grab these guys. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the left trigger to grab things. When I first started the game, I was pressing the A button a bunch, but in order to press the A button, you have to take your right thumb off of the analog stick, so you'd have to time it right. But I didn't figure out until later that you could just pull the left trigger to grab onto things as well. All right, let's get back to my pod.
Oxygen.
And we'll take a look at the sea truck as well. We'll go do a little bit more exploring. I'll kind of show you some of the surface areas. You can see how there's weather. There's a day-night cycle. The luminosity of flora and fauna will become apparent at nighttime, so it's a very beautiful looking game. It's where some of that zen starts to come into play. All right, let's make some food and water. And again, this food water is going to be a little bit of a loop as you're learning. But again, as you learn through these games, things get a little bit faster, and you don't have to panic as much, I guess. All right, so now that I have resources for water, let's go ahead and drink those 2. And then we're going to go ahead and eat. You can see how not having food and not having water can be a fairly large hit to your health. Let's go ahead and cook some more, just so that we have a full belly. Then we'll work on water, and then we'll go make 2 more med packs, and then we'll go explore a little bit. Again, as long as you're not worrying about food and water, you can definitely focus on other things. So don't think that me coming into this game, I'm trying to put myself into extremist situations to where you can see the need for gathering resources. All right, so we're going to go build one of these. So you can see how each of these things require you to gather resources. So if I wanted to make a standard O2 tank, which I already have, and that's the upgrade that I did, I needed to create fiber mesh and titanium. The green means that I have that. The red means I need to collect it, or I need to fabricate it. Rebreather I already made, the floating air pump. I already made a compass. So in order to make a first aid kit, I could just remember that I need to make fiber mesh, and then fiber mesh is up here. So in order to make fiber mesh, I need creep pine. Now I could memorize that, or I can conveniently just press the button to pin it. And you can see how it now populates over there to the right. Now I need a med kit, right? But in order to make a med kit, I need the mesh. So I try to put myself as many, and you can have a couple of these. So if I wanted to, let's see. Let's say that I want to make water. So I'm going to pin that I need the bladderfish. Let's say I need to make cooked food. So I'm going to pin that I need a boomerang. Let's say that I need to create a pipe. I need 2 of those. And let's say that I need to create a battery. All right, so these are the things that I can pin. Now I'm maxed out. All right, so I can have a total of 6 pins. But that gives me a recipe book that's very convenient, and it'll focus my attention on what it is that I need to be doing. And I found that that is very helpful with any kind of survival game. If you know what your recipes are, you just need to go out now and find these things. Now, as you play, you will become more familiar on where you need to go. But if you ever get lost, or if you're just exploring, again, as I said before, as you play Subnautica, you will become aware of, or you will come across things that you need to focus on. And as you find them, you should probably mark their location. Now, in order to mark your location, you need to make a beacon. And in order to make a beacon, you go over here to your blueprints, which you'll collect through the game. And you can see I need copper ore and titanium. Now, I've already constructed one, so I have one available. Now, I still haven't gone through the entire HUD. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see 5 quick selections, and I'm cycling through those. You can add anything from your inventory that is a tool or a fish. You can hold on to those. I don't know why you'd want to hold on to the fish, but if you come across something or an area that has a lot of resources that you
Oxygen.
like, if you come across an area that's just beautiful, mark it with one of these markers. It will help save you a ton of time searching later. Now we're going to talk about saving time with things that I have gathered in the game as well. So we're going to populate my quick bar down here with things that I have been using very, very frequently. So these have sort of been these next ones that I show you here. I don't know what's attacking me. It's probably a fish. Where is it? Now there are aggressive fish and there are passive fish. So just kind of, and you can see these guys right here. These guys right here are aggressive. They will attack you. They seem to be surrounding you. Like they'll even attack the other fauna and the other fauna in the area. Now they're protecting this little guy right here, which gives me oxygen. Those are very effective whenever they're in deep water. And there are plants that actually produce oxygen when you find those. They're scattered everywhere. They've done a great job, this team, of giving you a little bit of help where you need it, but not holding your hand the entire way. All right, so some of the common things that you're going to find useful in your first couple of hours in the game are what I have selected down at the bottom. So I've got the scanner. Do you hear the lightning? That means there's a heavy storm coming, and we may start to see heavy raindrops start to come through the surface of the water. And again, some of that ambience that is constantly happening. Let's go take a peek. All right, it's starting to get heavy weather. It's not heavy rain. You'll notice when there's heavy rain because the raindrops will come through the surface. It's a very, very cool effect. All right, so the scanner that I have, as you go around and you explore, and I've scanned a lot of the stuff, so you're not going to be able to see it here, but let's see if we can find something to scan. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have anything to scan. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'll scan it, and then it'll add it to my databank. Now, this databank is extremely useful if you start to get lost or you're not quite sure what it is that you need to be doing, or you're not sure if a specific item that you found is useful to you. You can go in here and read on just about anything. Logs and communication. Now, Sam is the sister that you're going after. There's a lot of really cool messages from Sam, so we'll listen to one of those.
Robin, guess what? I got the job. I'm going to 4546B. Now I'll be able to improve the mechanical avian amphibian under real-world stress conditions. Listen, I know your stance on Alterra, but I just hope you're happy your sis is happy. I sure hope my sis is happy. I can't wait till we talk again. Oh, I wanted to ask you something. Can you watch my Augie while I'm away? I need someone I can trust to look after my best little potato. Potato, listen. I tried, but that name is just not sticking. He's my little extra bite. I'll leave the starchy tubers nicknames to you. Anyway, if you say yes, thanks, baby sis. Love you.
Now, sort of how I did that, I highly recommend if you want to go in and listen to some of the audio recordings of NPCs, play them and then go back into the game. You can listen to them play in the background, which I really appreciate it when games do that. They have a lot of lore audio recordings, and you're allowed to listen to them while you continue to play. All right, so the scanner that I have in my hand is something that I've built over time. I've had to find the blueprints by scrap laying around the surface of the topography of the ocean floor. And you can see how I'm looking for ion cubes or crystalline sulfur. Searching through these, you have to be relatively close, and I haven't quite gotten the feel for its overall distance and range to be able to find these. But let's see if we can find something that we'll zoom in on. All right, now we have heavy rain because the raindrops are coming through. Again, a very cool effect. Quartz, limestone. Let's see if we can find something. Again, I'm just not in an area that's heavy on resources. But once you know you're in an area that's heavy with these specific resources, this is much more useful versus just swimming endlessly trying to find it. First, you have to find the area that it's strong in. Let's see if I can find... All right. One thing I'm finding to be... I take a lot of notes as I'm playing games to prep for these streams. And one of the others, it's not a bad, it's just an other. All right, so here's... Let's see what this is right here. All right, quartz. All right, so let's say I didn't know that it were quartz, but I knew I was in a quartz-heavy area. Let me get my oxygen real quick. Have to be at least 0 meters to get your oxygen. All right, so if I was trying to find quartz, now it's trying to search for quartz, but see how far away I was from quartz. I wish it had a distance so I knew. All right, so it's beeping. It's also a slight vibration in the controller. It's probably right below me. There it is. All right, you can see the marker on the display there. Gives me a basic direction. All right, so that is your locator. Knife is going to be extremely useful to hit smaller enemies to make them go away, and also to take exploitable resources from the flora. And then I've used this mobility. Now I keep forgetting what they're called. Let's go back over here.
Oxygen.
All right, the sea glide. The sea glide is something that I've used a lot. It has saved me from drowning. It has been able to get me out of sticky situations with monsters that like to chase you, and it just makes exploration much faster. But it does have a battery, and we'll kind of talk about that. You can see the battery on the very bottom of the screen. I've got the quick selection items input to those circles. Now you can see the very far right is the one where the sea glide is at. Now once that battery depletes, I have to replace the battery, and in order to replace the battery, I have to at least have a battery in my inventory. And I have these 2 batteries right here. Now, the good thing about it is you can wait until it fully depletes and then change the battery. So you're not wasting, you don't have to swap out the battery right away because you still have some percentage left. So anything you see with those bars on it that have power percentages, like the Sea Glide, you can see the power is at 31%. I have my my scanner here, that's got 20% left. And then my, I say scanner, I should probably call them what they actually are. All right, so this is a scanner and this is a detector. All right, so the scanner has 59, the selector has 19, and the sea glide has 31. So these are very common things that I'll use. All right, what is next that we can talk about? Let me check my notes here. Because again, like I said, I take notes as I go. Let's go back towards the pod. Let me get my bearings here. There we go. Let's get oxygen. 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 The next time I get low on oxygen, I want to show you guys something that I learned. You'll start to black out and the screen will go black. And even though when it's fully blacked out, you still have about 2 to 3 seconds left to get to the surface of the water.
Oxygen.
I'm going to simulate this and hopefully not die by showing you. But it does have this interesting effect of get to the surface, get to the surface. So I'm going to start blacking out here, and the screen goes black. As long as I'm going towards the surface, you can see how I was completely blacked out, but I was still pushing towards the surface. So you have about 2, maybe maximum of 3 seconds. Just keep pushing. Don't like, the screen's black, that means I'm dead. Don't give up. Keep swimming towards the surface. Sometimes that'll save you. All right, let's get inside and let's create some water and food. Highly recommend when you see yourself low on water and food and health, create enough to get yourself to max, and then create more if you're going out to explore. All right, so I'm at 104. I'm a little gorged. Gluttony. All right, so now that I'm full on health, but I'm still going to want to create food for the journey. And right now, you fabricate everything at this pod that I was just inside of. Over time, you'll be able to add things to your sea truck, which we're going to jump in here shortly, and be able to fabricate straight from the sea truck, which is very effective, so you don't have to come all the way back to the pod every time. Okay, so let's get a couple more things for food. Just a couple, because once you cook things, they will, over time, spoil. And again, I'm not 100% on this game. And also to remind you, or not to remind you, but to let you know, the way that I do these streams is a viewer will suggest what game they'd like to see streamed. And I probably should have said who it was that actually selected this for this stream. This was a request by one of my viewers going by the name of TT is Master. That's TT is Master, or Tis Master. So Master gave the suggestion to play Subnautica. So I will take a suggestion, preferably from a viewer. If not, I'll just randomly generate a title for a game out of the Game Pass library. And then I'll play it for at least an hour before I'll stream it like I am now, to kind of show people what they can expect by at least being familiar with the mechanics and having experienced a good chunk of the game myself. Some games take longer. I think right now that I'm at least 4 hours or more into this game. I did one for Yakuza Like a Dragon. I spent 20 hours in that game trying to unlock stuff so I could talk to it. And again, those are other episodes that you can partake and look at if you'd like. All right, so this is not a review also. This is not a review for Subnautica. This is just a taste of what the game has to offer. Hopefully within an hour's time, you'll get a good feel for what the game has to offer for you if it's something that you'll enjoy doing. All right, so I think we've got a good grasp on survival mechanics and what we need to do to stay alive as we explore. And now, once we have a good grasp of that, we want to move on to pressing outwards from this pod and going to see mysterious things in the world. All right, so let's get our water. Let's at least get that to a max. and hopefully have a couple left over to keep myself alive. All right, let's bake some food.
Seek fluid intake.
All right, let's go ahead and drink before I die.
Vital signs stabilizing.
All right, about 4 will take you to max. That takes me a little bit over. All right, so now I've got a couple more fish here that I can cook for food. I am going to need to go out and get enough for healing myself. So let's go do that. So let's... And we're looking for these right here. All right, these things fill up so much, but I think it's 2 that I need, right? All right, so I can make 1. Let's see if I can give myself a little bit more space. Let's, I think we could drop some fish. Let's drop 1 fish there. We're gonna have to drop 4 things. Let's drop 2 more. There we go. So let's grab 1 more of these. There we go. Now our inventory's full again. So now let's go back to the pod. We'll make some health, and then we'll be maxed out on everything, and then we'll go explore. That was about 30 minutes of survival. Now let's go into exploring. All right, let's cook these 2 fish. And let's get some med packs. All right, so we can take the med pack off of the pinned resources. We can take the mesh off. We can take water off. We can take food off. And we can take pipe off. All right, batteries we can also take off. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about deployables. So we created the Sea Glide. In order to make vehicles, I had to then first make a mobile vehicle bay. And again, blueprints found out in the world in order to create a lot of this stuff. So you have to find it, like remnants of it, fragments of it, in order to scan to create the blueprints. So in order to create a sea truck, I needed to first create a mobile vehicle device, which then fabricated the Sea Glide, or the sea truck. All right, let's go ahead and heal ourselves. 2 of those should do it. All right, now we are always trying to breathe air, but once we have created this awesome sea truck, we can jump inside the sea truck, and now we'll always have air. And we kind of move around a little bit faster than the Sea Glide, and we can go down in the depths without having to worry about rushing up towards the surface to get air. Now, you have lights that you can turn on, especially during the nighttime or when you get deeper and deeper, but it'll also drain your battery. You can kind of see the temperature is down there on the bottom right, the overall damage that my ship has taken, and the overall battery life that I have, the charge. So if I run into stuff, you can see that the percentage of health goes down, right? I'm at 57, so pretty much anytime I run into something, it goes down by 1. But also there's some very large sea creatures which will damage your vessel as well. But it's okay. Once you take damage, there is the ability to repair it. And one last thing, down there at the very bottom, you can see some of the upgrades that I've done for this particular vehicle. One of those upgrades is increasing the amount of depth that I can go down. You can see at the very top, I have my cardinal direction, my compass, and I also have what depth I'm currently at. I'm at 23 of 300. Now 300 is the max before I get to the crush depth of the sea truck. Now I can upgrade that over time. And I mentioned before going into your menu here to check to see some of the things that you might want to be going towards. We talked about the beacon managers. Let's go over this this heads-up display here, this menu. All your inventory stuff is here. You're limited by space. Everything that you want to upgrade your suit is over here. Blueprints that you found in the world, you can again pin these things. You can see there it says pin the recipe. An ultra high tank capacity tank is something that I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to find one more blueprint. And when you find one blueprint, the other blueprints that you need, if it's more than just one, are usually scattered around the area that you found the first one. So stay in the area if you can and find more. Maybe put down one of those beacons so that you can come back to it later. But I have a general idea of where the other blueprint pieces are for the ultra high tank capacity. But you can see here as well that I can have a sea truck afterburner. The sea truck upgrade Mark 1 I already have attached. Now I can go up to a Mark 2 and a Mark 3, which lets me get further and further down, which you're going to need in order to explore and to progress the story. In order to get my sea truck upgrade, you can see the materials that I need there. I also need to have already created at least the Mark 1 before I can use the Mark 2. The one thing that I have not gotten that I'm kind of hovering over the need for is this resource right here. So I need to pin that one. All right. So that's the bottom area there. Now, I was talking about as you start to get damaged. I'm just a little bit above 56%. As I take more damage, you'll start to get indications of it. Let me see if I can do some damage here. And again, I found myself getting damaged more when I'm in underground caverns that you're trying to explore, and it's such tight quarters, you end up bouncing against the walls. It's kind of like, oh, I got to squeeze through here. But no worries. You can see I'm starting to get some leaks around the seals. And if we go and some sparks every once in a while, we'll get sparks that come up to tell me and remind me, hey, you're starting to take damage. This usually happens below 50%. But you can kind of see I'm starting to leak here on the outside, and I'm still sparking. So in order to repair, it's okay. You will come down here and you'll have a tool right here, repair tool. I've already created one of these, but again, as I said, come into this display here and find out things that you have blueprints for and work towards those things, because those things will help you progress. And also, one more thing, don't stay in a menu at depth. The only thing that stops your air from, I'm still depleting on my oxygen. You can see it down there in the bottom left. As you are looking in your menus or reading data banks or listening to audio recordings, remember, unless you pause, the game will continue to deplete your oxygen if you're underwater. Or just get inside of a structure like the pod that we're at, or inside your sea truck. Then you can go in here and you can start to read. But don't get too far along with that, because your water and your food intake is slowly ticking away as well. Your water will tick away faster than your food. Your food will tick away the slowest. But your air will tick away faster than water, as it should be. So just keep those things in mind. Your log, things that you hear, audio, spoken, you can come back here and listen to them again. Photo manager, as you're kind of moving around the world, you can hit the right analog stick and it'll take a quick photo. Then you can go back in and check and see your photo and marvel at your photographic skills. I haven't found a huge use for these just yet, but they're cool to kind of have here nonetheless if it's something that you need to use, or maybe to remind you where you need to go. That might be a good use for them, but Maybe there will be puzzles that I need to take pictures of and then use those patterns or something. But again, I've got a long way to go in the game yet. Go ahead and remove that. And we talked about the log and the data bank. I think we've touched on everything. The beacons that you place out, sometimes the game will give you beacons, but other times you have the ability to lay down your own. You can name them, and then you can also change their color, which I think is extremely beneficial if you're trying to get around or you want your eye to catch things more quickly. You can turn them all off, or you can turn them on individually so that you're not distracted by having a lot. I'm keeping a lot of them on, which is fine. And you can kind of see, just point your nose in the direction you want to go. That is actually one that I laid out. I just know I need to have a laser cutter in order to get over there. Blue Snake Reef was a really beautiful place that I found. And again, I named these, so I just named it Blue Snake Reef. Delta Station is one that was created by the game. Deep Sea Structure, that's one of mine. Beacon, that is one that I just didn't name. The air pump was one that I named. Pilot last known position. This is actually an area I need to go, so we can maybe push over there. And then these guys right over here. That might be something that I leave for you guys to discover. I don't want to spoil some of the things that are in this game. You may have heard some of the audio that you were able to maybe get a little bit of sneak peek and maybe a little bit of spoiling when I jumped into the pod and there was somebody that was talking to me, but I'll leave that for you guys to discover. Again, here's some of the larger sea creatures. They are not always coming after you. They're actually going around and eating the other fauna in the area. So that might be something that you need to pay attention to. But they will actually sometimes come over and bump into your little sea truck here. So always be aware of your surroundings. I talked before about my sea truck having damage. I'm below 50%. And then I said, don't worry about it. And then I got distracted in menus. So inside my inventory, I have a repair tool, which I've created. I'm going to assign it to a spot here and now select it. And now you can see how 49%, remember we were below 49% for the sea truck. Now I'm going to sit here and repair it. It's about to come and steal something. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. These guys, it looks like sometimes these guys, remember those little monkeys? They used to come and always try to steal stuff from me. Oh, he actually dropped a resource. I'll just take it.
30 seconds of
These
oxygen
bigger
remaining.
guys seem to scare them away. Get back in the sea truck. Are we at 100%? Yep, now we're at 100%. Did you just take... Ooh, what are you holding right there? Actually, let's get out. I actually think I might need that. Let's steal it from him. What did I get from him? I got something from him. Oh, he's going to try to bite me, that little guy. Alright, and away we go. What did I pick up from that guy? Oh, did he just have one of these? He just had a hooked fish. Oh, no, he actually had some creepvine samples. We talked before about the food. You can see how the food here and here are starting to spoil. It'll say cooked, it'll say old, it'll say spoiling, and then it'll say rotten or something like that. Depending on how high that bar is will be how much nutrient you get from it as well. I'm below 50% for my water intake, so I should have created some water before I left. But there are instances of plants. I don't see any around here. There are instances of plants that will give you water that you can eat right away. I just don't see any of them around here. Sometimes they're... Oh, here they are. There might be some over here. Nope. They might be at higher altitudes. And again, there are resources that are specific to the depth that you are in. So if you're looking for a specific resource, you may just need to go deeper and deeper and deeper. There's some areas up here that I'll let you guys explore. My controller batteries are getting low. We'll see how long those last if they go out during stream. I've got a set of batteries on standby though. Let me see if I can find some of these plants that give you water. They're little blue spheres. They usually grow around these types of plants. Oh, there they are right there. Okay. So you see how my water intake is going down. I don't necessarily have to go all the way back to get food. I can actually take these bullseye shrooms. See, as I start to chop away at them, I'm picking up those resources. And I can go back here and you can see that they'll give me +8 food and +3 water. I have to consume a lot of them, but it'll help me if I'm getting low on health and I don't want to truck all the way back to my pod, which is currently 173 away. But usually around these little fluffy purple looking things are where I find these bullseye. And that's another thing with survival games. When you start to become familiar with your surroundings and you know where to find resources, it becomes much more comfortable and relaxing. And over time, I've gotten to that point where I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then you die. I've had those happen to me quite a few times, but I've gotten to the point where I'm a little more comfortable with finding what I need, knowing where to find it. It's very rewarding in that sense. All right. My next thing that I have to keep eyes on are the battery power of this vessel, of the sea truck that I'm tooting around in. I don't know where to find. See, I'm on the lookout for. Let's see here. Where is it? There it is. I'm on the lookout for spiral plant clippings. I don't know where to find those at. You know what? I think the last thing that I'll show you, again, I'm always on the lookout for stuff. You'll always be on the lookout for stuff, which is awesome. Like, look how beautiful this place is. This might be Blue Snake Reef. Am I near Blue Snake Reef? Yeah, I am. All right, so this is Blue Snake Reef. This is one of the areas that I found early in the game. I marked it so that I could come back here for a couple of reasons. There's a lot of good resources to be found around here, and it is just a beautiful place. I used to only be able to look at it from this depth because I would end up running out of air and I didn't want to get too far down. But now that I have this sea truck, I can get further and further down, and I get these creatures right here that will come after me. So I got to be careful. It thinks I'm food. And I talked before about plants that can give you air. Let's say that I was, and I have. I've explored and I've gotten down here. I've almost run out of air. But this awesome plant right here gives you air. So if you ever find these, they're very, very helpful, especially when you're getting down to depth. All right, I can turn on my lights now. Again, I need to pay attention because it does take away some energy. Again, these tight quarters are here where I'm going to be bouncing into walls, where it's nice to have your repair tool ready and available. Let's go over to Delta Station, and that'll be the last place that I show you guys on this demonstration of Subnautica. Again, there are so many areas that you will come across as you explore. Oh, this might be a place that I need to revisit. And that being said, I need to mark this area now that I'm here. Give me a quick second here. I've been looking for this volcano activity. So I'm going to mark it. All right, so the game is going to pause. It doesn't show my keyboard on stream. It just seems to like freeze the game. But I'm going to call this one Volcano. All right, so now I have a marker named Volcano, and I can change its color by going into this beacon manager, finding the one that says Volcano, and I think I'll change it to be red. Now I can come back to that later. But for now, we're going to go to Delta Station. Now, again, there's some spoilers here, so if you don't want to see this, you could probably end the stream right here, and I can say thank you very much, and I hope you come back and see streams when I'm live with playing games. I play a lot of Dark Souls. I'll play Cyberpunk anytime, and again, if you haven't already, remember, I like to have viewers jump in, whether or not you're watching this on a live stream in the future or you're watching this as an archived YouTube video, because these are episodic. Jump down in the comment section, leave me a comment, tell me a game that you'd like to see me stream, and if I have access to it, I'll stream it. Again, I have access to all the Game Pass libraries, so please, thank you very much for watching. But if you don't want to be spoiled, you can leave now. If not, stick with me. We'll be going for at least another 10 minutes. And as I kind of have my thoughts here before we jump into this area, I want to kind of do a quick summary of my thoughts. It is very creative. And I say creative, but there's different ways that you can play this game. You can play it in creative, you can play it in hardcore, you can play it in survival. I'm playing survival. And there's one more, and I've forgotten what it's called, so I apologize. But hardcore is like a permadeath. You die once, and you're done. And everything resets. Creative, I'm sure you've got unlimited resources, and maybe you don't ever die. But I'm playing in survival, so I need to be careful with the choices that I make, and it's very similar to No Man's Sky. So if you like No Man's Sky, you'll like Subnautica. It's not as vast as the galaxy as No Man's Sky. I don't know, maybe it is. But there's a couple other things, and I want to kind of mention this. There's a couple things I'm going to mention before I go, and I may not be limited to just 10 minutes. There's going to be a point where I'm able to build my own structures, my own base. I haven't gotten there yet, and I hope that's something that intrigues you guys to come in and play the game so that you can see this. And I'm intrigued to continue playing just so I can get these rooms. And here's some spoilers down here. Yeah, there's base building. So if you like base building, it's in here. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. But you can extend your reach and your ability to like fabricate and everything. And I also talked about the truck, right? There is the ability to have this fabricator module attached to my sea truck so that I can fabricate things on the go. Enabled to dock with other stations, underwater stations, I need to build this module. So there's so much more to look forward to, and it's constantly throwing things like this stuff at you. I have my sea truck, but then I get these other modules. It's like, oh wait, there's more. There's a lot of that in this game. So yeah, there's different ways to play this, and it definitely lends itself and performs that admirably. So again, collect, craft, discover, repeat. Just keep doing that and having that mantra in your head, and you'll enjoy this game. Again, check your PDA for recipes. Like I'm here in the blueprint. Check this PDA often. It'll help you stay alive. And don't hover in the water. I mentioned that. Looking at menus. I mentioned that before. Just don't hover in the water, looking at menus and reading things, because you'll die. You'll die a lot. And I've also found that, and I mentioned this before, that you can use accessibility features to change the color of highlights. You see how I have this one set to red. So anything that's interactable turns red for me, which makes things a little bit simpler. But you can turn that off. Beacons. Use beacons. Use your pins. See how I have the menus and the recipes pinned at the top right. Use those to great effect. They will help focus your attention. So I really appreciate the team that developed the game putting that in there. So thank you very much to Unknown Worlds. Now, I'm thinking of the designers. Like, this was published by Unknown Worlds, but I don't know if Unknown Worlds is just the publisher or they're also the designer. Because I think it's like Unknown Worlds, and then I think it's called Shiny Shoe. I think those guys are also I'm pretty sure they're one and the same. Yeah, the overall survival aspect is done really well. And while you're surviving, pay attention to your food, pay attention to your water, pay attention to air, and also temperature. Depth limitations are based on oxygen. Early in the game, your suit, once you get down to below 100 and 200 meters, your efficiency for breathing air is a lot harder. But as you start to progress in the game, you'll pick up on things like this rebreather, which makes breathing down at further depths a lot easier. I just got a notification of Kingdom Death Monster 1.5 update number 88. I'm a big board game player as well. Kingdom Death. If you're a fan of Dark Souls, you'll be a fan of Kingdom Death. You die a lot. Anyway, I digress. Keep pushing upward as you start to black out. I mentioned that. 2 to 3 seconds. Keep doing that. Don't give up. Try to survive. And like, keep in your mind, there's gear out there to be built that will make this whole survival piece easier and enjoyable. Yeah, you just have to find the fragments to gain those blueprints. So keep a lookout. Drop beacons as soon as you can. Hey, this beacon right here was, again, dropped by the game. I can pick that up and I think use it for myself. Pause when you walk away. Don't just sit here because things will start to drain. Hit the pause button and it'll start all your things that tick away slowly, not to tick away. And save often. There are some generous saves, so don't think you have to always do that. But don't be away from keyboard sitting like this because you'll die. And keep an eye out for pop-up icons in the bottom right corner of the screen, especially when you're out here. If I'm coming up to something that maybe I haven't scanned or looked at, again, these specific things aren't scannable, but if it was scannable or if I needed to use something on it, in the bottom right of the screen, this would be this little pop-up saying, hey, you might want to think about using this. All right, back here so I don't run out of air as I talk. I haven't found any boss battles. It's mostly, excuse me, hydrate. Mostly what I found are NPCs that require your attention. Loot pretty much comes from the resources that are provided to you and the fragments that you find. I'm starting to lose my voice. I should have hydrated more myself. As you're playing games, also actually hydrate and eat. The air part should be easy. Unless you're playing in some underwater. Anyway. Combat. I haven't really found a lot of combat in the game. So if you're looking for a heavy combat, I don't think it's going to be here. All right. So there is a lot of surface, you can be above the surface and explore. You can find things like abandoned PDAs, which will give you... Well, you know what? I didn't bring any water with me. So this might be where I die. And I've died a lot. And it's okay to die in games like this because dying is learning. Failure is learning. All right, so here's one of the beacons. If I want to keep that there so I can come back here at any time and explore. I wish I could make some coffee, help warm me up. This is probably a big storage thing that I get to create later in the game. But I imagine that when I get to a point of, and there might be resources here. I can pick up snow, throw a snowball, have snowball fights maybe. You can see I'm starting to get cold, right? So now hyperthermia is going to set in. Again, I think hyperthermia is outside where your body core temperature is dropping, and hypothermia is where the water is sucking the heat from you. But there's these cool little plants that warm me up. Yeah, nice and warm. Nice and toasty. I wish there was a fabricator in here somewhere. But also the beacons that you put up in the world can also kind of give you an overall feeling of scale. No idea what this is. Will this keep me warm, or is this radioactive? Oh, this is just like a warm bath. So the beacons kind of give you an overall scale of the world too. You can kind of see like, oh, I've been over there. Where's my my pod? My pod's 70 or 700 meters away. Give you an idea of like where you're at in the world. These cute little guys. I don't know if they're aggressive. Seem pretty friendly. you'll become familiar with these guys. Again, structures. I don't know if I'm going to be able to build a structure like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll even be able to go to another planet altogether. I don't know. That's sort of some of the interest that I have that most games like this present to the player. It's like, hey, there's a lot to explore. Thank you. Sometimes the character will hold out her hands.
Another site
Oh.
found. Perhaps its data will tell me something useful. I have collected enough data to extrapolate the location of a component necessary to assemble my body. I will provide a signal.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
Signal. 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 Resource.
Seek fluid intake immediately.
Oh, here's something I can scan. This is what I was talking about. Pay attention if you're looking around the world and you get this little pop-up. It's telling me that I can scan it. So we'll go get our scanner. Populate it down there. And we'll scan. Oh, need to have the... Once you scan it, you get a pop-up. Hit the back button and read about it. But I'll let you guys read that. All right, that's about an hour into this episode of Game Pass Library. This is episode number 18. I'm trucking along. I really appreciate the suggestion by TT is Master for allowing me the opportunity to stream a game based on request and to create an episode for it as well. But again, I really hope before you leave, you'll hit the like, the subscribe, or head over to the Twitch channel and follow. So when I do go live, hopefully it's with a game that you've suggested. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope you got some information that you might need in order to make a choice on whether or not to just go in and get the Game Pass library and subscribe to that service. Most people probably already are because it's such a good deal. Or if you're looking to pick up this game as a purchase, it's probably on sale fairly frequently. It is Thanksgiving, so there's probably some Thanksgiving sales that are going on tomorrow. So, yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to explore. Don't ever get too locked into a particular area. So here's something. If you ever find fragments of something that you've already collected, still go ahead and scan it because it'll give you resources. Oh, I haven't scanned you. Hey, Thermal Lily. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next stream. Bye.